Birdhouse Dynasty Show and our 2025 mock draft 3.0. And tonight, Thursday night, 1 week before the actual NFL draft, we have a couple of special guests in the house, both from DD Fantasy. First of all, from Philadelphia, a humble Eagles fan, and co host from Mannequin Chill and his own show, Shane Says. Shane, Manila, what's going on, Shane?
Nothing much, nothing much. I'm not a co-host on Shane Says because there's just one of me. I swear. I'm a little schizophrenic, but not that schizophrenic that no. I'm good, man. Yeah, humble. Very, very, very humble Eagles fan. I'm not like annoying about it, right? I don't carry on this at my desk. I don't have all this stuff behind me talking about the Super Bowl or wear, a world's champion hat. Never do that. I would never do that. That's beneath me. No, but I'm good. I'm excited to be here. I'm ready to draft. Excited to be here with JB.
All right. And second of all, but not least, we have from one of my favorite shows when I got back into Dynasty 5 years ago. That is Dynasty Theory, the host, the one and only John Bauer. JB, what's going on tonight?
Hey, Chris, excited to be here. We've been talking for a while and ready to rock and roll with tonight's mock draft.
All righty, let's do it. So we decided ahead of time that JB would pick first. I'll get the second pick, and Shane wanted that spicy number 3 pick. So let's get the board up here. All right. And you guys just let me know who you want. I'll go ahead and plug them in here. So,
All right, well, I'm going to make this super easy for the 101. Give me Ashton Genty. I don't think there's really too much commentary that needs to go along with that. But my 101, in pretty much any format that we can think of, Ashton Genty, Lockham, and Chris.
you got it, JB. Now, just for our viewers here, just for, to have a little fun here, what would it actually take for you to not, like, what kind of landing spot would Genty have to have for you to not take him at 101, hypothetically?
I don't think it exists.
Philadelphia.
I mean, within reason, like if he's going to slip all the way to the end of the first, sure, I guess Philadelphia would be an ugly landing spot for both him and Saquon Barkley. But realistically, in the top 10 to 12 picks, I don't think there's anything that really could happen that I would move off of him from that 101.
What if he goes to the Saints and Omarion Hampton does go at 12 to the Cowboys? Still taking Genty?
I would, because my thought there is if they are going with Genty, there's probably something going on behind the scenes involving Alvin Kamara. And I love Omarion Hampton. Like I don't want to give too much away, but Hampton would be my 102. But with Genty, he checks every single box. I know that he was under a microscope in that Penn State game this year. But even then, even though the numbers weren't what we were used to, he gave you everything you were looking for in a back that could potentially go top 10 in the NFL draft. So, yeah, even in that scenario with New Orleans, maybe if he went San Fran, that could be a little interesting if they didn't move off of McCaffrey. But now we're just getting into very terrible things, and I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Shane. What are your thoughts on that?
Nah, just JP. Oh, just terrible things. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of places that he's going to fall. Like, obviously, the Eagles aren't drafting him. Atlanta's not drafting him. None of those teams are. And what's there? Maybe Devon Chain. Maybe Miami I'd be a little concerned about. Not maybe. I would be. But that's the only, like, one that's even, like, realistic. Detroit. But no, you know what I mean? They already have Gibbs. They have Montgomery. So it's unlikely that any of those teams are going to spend a pick on him. And anywhere else he's going to land, even if it's not, and I'm a little I don't think Dallas is actually the best landing spot. I think that's working off, that's a perception that's working off of like 4 years ago when Dallas Cowboys were a great line or whatever. I actually think he'd be great in Vegas, but outside of him falling into one of those spots we just know he's not going to be drafted at, it's impossible. It's impossible, whatever that word is, inconceivable that he would not go the 101 in any draft.
And I see some comments in the chat from Jonah saying the Jets, similar to the New Orleans situation, if the Jets were to draft Ashton Genty, there's probably something going on behind the scenes involving Breece Hall. Now, would we have to possibly endure a 1-2 backfield on the last year of Breece Hall's contract? Maybe. So, yeah, maybe the Jets would be the worst case scenario for me in that top 10. And I see the Raiders, I mean, he's going to get 80% market share. So give me that opportunity despite the perceived landing spot with the offensive line woes.
Yeah. Now, I see Sincere McCormick in the chat there. He could pose some threat to some touches.
Absolutely not. Dude, if anyone is worried about Sincere McCormick, you need to go see a therapist right now because you are, I don't know what the word is, but there's some kind of phobia that you have, and you need to get it checked out. And, look, and I'm not mocking you. I'm on my own drugs, so that's cool, but you need to go see your therapist now and discuss your Sincere McCormick fixations.
And it's funny that Jag is the one that pointed out Sincere McCormick because Sincere McCormick is, in fact, a Jag. Just another guy. So
that's almost perfect. Inconceivably perfect. Yes. So one other thing here. What could you trade off of the 101 for if you're rebuilding and you don't want to get that running back? You're looking more for wide receiver or maybe just picks because you still want to get the 101 and 26. I've got an offer from Hergot. He's one of your guys. And he's also in many of my leagues. And he's trying to offer me the 105 and 107. What do you think of that? I only have 3 assets.
That's, Scott brings us up a lot on Mannequin Chill and just in life in general when we talk about things, about trades. Is someone going to be able to top that? Are you going to be, is there anyone else in your league that could even top that? Because if they can, go to them. Is there someone that has the 104 and the 108? Sure, that's better. Is there someone with the 103 and the 107? And I'm going to run out of numbers here, so I'm going to stop talking about that. But is there someone that can give you a better deal? If not, that's probably a really fair deal, 105 and 107.
Yeah, that's not far off from me, especially if you're in a super flex format, you're in a tight end premium format. If it's one asset, I've seen people talking about 101 for Brian Thomas.
Right.
I would take Brian Thomas. I think you could get a Nico Collins plus if you were looking to go the wide receiver route. It's always, people see it as very dangerous to, if you're in a situation that you truly earned that 101 and the rest of your team is not ready to really compete, people find it dangerous to invest in a player like Ashton Genty or any running back. It happened even with Bijan Robinson whenever he was the 101 in his class. People are afraid to invest in that running back. There's going to be a market. Unless we get just a horrendous rookie season, catastrophic, and call back to what Shane said, an inconceivably terrible season, there's going to be that insulation there. But yeah, I think Brian Thomas is doable. I think a Nico Collins plus is doable. And then with that 105, 107 that you talked about, Chris, you could probably get a little bit more. But like Shane said, that's not a bad offer.
No, it's not. And I'll probably ask for a little bit more, but I think that, that's probably the best offer I can get. And so I'll probably just ask for a little bit more. There's Mike. He's going to send it over to try and get this through live.
Oh, wait, hold on. No, actually, I think it's going to take at least 4 more first-round picks on there. Sorry, Mike. Sorry.
All right, let's get rolling here because I do want to get through this draft. I think so. So do the viewers. They want to see it. So it's now on me at the 102, and though it is, I don't know that I mentioned the format, guys. We're doing stock 12 team, start 11, super flex tight end premium with the 0.75 premium there. And though it's super flex and Cam Ward is very likely the 101 to the Titans, I just don't feel comfortable not taking an elite quarterback that early. So I am going to go with Omarion Hampton. And I think we all know he's basically the second best running back right now. He was awesome at the combine. You know, what did he have? A top 13 RAS score of all time? I don't know. It was top 10, something like that. But I feel comfortable wherever he goes as well, just like Genty.
Yeah. So this is where the fun starts, right? Because
Yes, sure. Yes, sir.
it feels like insanity to go, well, let me draft a running back 3 of this class over the quarterback 1 of this class. And depending, obviously, we don't know who that's going to be. It could be, I don't know, if it's Trev Henderson to Kansas City. Maybe I'm a little more balls to the wall and I'm like, yeah, let's do it. But I don't know, even in a super flex, I don't know how you would pass up Cam Ward here. Now, what I prefer to do is trade out of here, but unfortunately, neither of you guys are going to trade with me, and none of these mystery box teams are going to trade with me. So I would just go with Cam Ward here. Like honestly, I go with Cam Ward unless again there's some reason there's a third running back that makes it into the first round somehow, or Tet McMillan actually goes in the top 10. Then maybe my thought process changes a little on him, but. I just go Cam in the setup.
All right, we'll lock it in. Cam Ward, Tennessee Titans. There you go, Shane.
Nice.
All right. And we're back to you, JB, at the 104. What are you looking at?
Do I sound a little bit better coming through?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right. I saw the comment there from the freeway. Man, I don't know what happened there. Anyway, so we got Cam Ward off the board at 103. Oh man, I've such a big tier right here. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Travion Henderson at the 104
right.
here. You know, third running back off the board before the first wide receiver. I know we're talking about tight end premium as well, but Travion Henderson, he gives you the big play potential, involvement in the passing game, extremely good in pass protection, whenever that's a question mark for a lot of running backs coming into the league. And he's just going to be that explosive asset that's going to be able to use in the run game and receiving game. So, yeah, I'm going to go Travion Henderson. I don't think draft capital is a concern here, so if this were a rookie draft before the NFL draft, I would still feel comfortable with Travion.
All right. Yeah, you mentioned the tier here, and for me, as I've been mentioning on my show, like, we know Genty's the 101, but after that, like, I have this mega tier that I call it. You know, there's going to be smaller tier breaks after they get landing spots, but I have this mega tier for basically pick 2 all the way to, like, the 201 or 202. Where I totally feel comfortable trading back, you know, from 102, 103, 104 to get 2 of those picks. I don't know if you guys see that mega tier as well, or...
I'm 104 to 112. I almost said 212. 104 to 112, so I don't see it as that far off from where you are, Chris. And it's going to make rookie drafts interesting whenever people are on the clock saying, hey, I'm looking to move back. Well, at least as of now, before we get landing spots and draft capital, I think a lot of people feel that way.
I don't know what my tiers are. I got to be honest with you. There's like all these multiple tiers in my head, right? These peaks and valleys and dips, and like the 101 and 102, I feel really great about. I get to 103 and I'm like, I don't know what to do here. 104, I'm like, well, I guess it depends on what 103 did. 105 to 110, I'm like, all right, this is a good little pocket here. Like these are largely similar tiers to me. 105 to 110, although I do have some colors of gray in there. There are players that I'm probably going to end up being higher on or have more conviction on than the consensus.
Yes. Well, I'm going to spice things up here with the one player, probably the biggest boom or bust guy, but with all the noise to Cleveland, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I don't know if I'm doing it just because I got you guys on the show or not, but if I've got the opportunity to take the highest ceiling wide receiver in this class, he's the one guy that I could see becoming, a top 10 dynasty asset out of these guys. The running backs are great, but we all know they don't get. Look at where Bijan's at, as great as he's been. Look at where Jahmyr Gibbs is at, as great as he's been. I think that Hunter's got the highest ceiling. He could get up and have like a Malik Neighbors type rookie season. So that's where I'm at. So I'm going to throw him up there.
Well, I just need you to know, if you didn't do that, there's a very, very good chance that this team at 106, who is not the same team that drafted at 103, right? These are not the same teams, but this team at 106 would have looked at what's available on the board and gone, yeah, why wouldn't I take the upside shot here on Travis Hunter? That's a hell of a spot to take him. I like it. I like it. 106. What are you going to do 106? I mean, you could go Tet. It's 1.75 tight end premium, right?
Yep.
If I actually drafted a tight end here, even though it's not my real team, I think Scott would find me and kick me in the nuts after last night's conversation about tight ends. But yeah, I'm going to go Tet. There is a lot of Tet McMillan hate, and it might be overblown. Also, I mean, I'm not recency biased or anything, but I did just read Nate Tice's write-up of him on Yahoo, and yeah, I agree with him. I think he's got the upside to be a legit wide receiver one in the NFL. He's a dude that plays to his size. I think the concerns about him are people think he doesn't look like he's trying hard enough, right? I don't know how you measure that. He doesn't like to watch film. I don't know how you measure that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how important it is for a wide receiver to watch film. I have absolutely no idea. I do know that the dude is uber talented. He's got uber size, and he most likely, after all the noise that we hear outside of Hunter, will be the first wide receiver off the board. So I'm going with Tet here.
Yeah, I have no problem going Tet here. I think he's obviously the safer wide receiver pick. I see Mike Evans in him. Now, that might be me looking through the creamsicle-colored glasses here, but I think Tet's going to be solid just about wherever he goes. He can fit right into that role and just be – I don't know that he's going to have 1,000-yard seasons in a row, but we'll see.
All right, at 107, and again, I'm kind of looking at this as if we're in a rookie draft today. We don't know the landing spots. We don't know the draft capital. Right. Within this big tier, I'm going to go Tyler Warren. I really like Colston Loveland, too. I have them, like, back-to-back. And honestly, if anybody wanted to, debate or argue and say Loveland's their tight end one, I could live with that. But with Tyler Warren, we're going to get the draft capital. Everybody's hoping that one of these big tight ends does not land with the Indianapolis Colts. That conversation has been had so many times. But Tyler Warren, he's versatile. He's able to be used in multiple ways. I know he had the production a little bit later in his collegiate career, but I think he's going to be a weapon that's going to be heavily utilized in the NFL. So Tyler Warren, 107 with the tight end premium.
Yeah, I also have Warren and Loveland pretty much back-to-back. I mean, it is going to depend on their landing spots. I mean, one of them gets to the Chargers. You're going to have Herbert with them. One of them lands in Indianapolis. Obviously, we don't really love it as much. And so, it really will depend on landing spots for those guys. Although I hate saying that, I'd rather just be able to draft off of talent. It's true that sometimes we just have to go off the landing spots, really. All right. So it's up to me here at the 108. Oh, man.
Oh.
All right, I'm going to go Quinshawn here. I think that him and Henderson are still pretty much back-to-back. Henderson has the more versatile skill set. Quinshawn's more of the grinder, I guess, but he can still catch the pill, and we'll see where he lands. I think he's going to get it. If he goes to Pittsburgh or somewhere like that, where he can be the first and second down back right out the gate, I think he's more than solid.
I think he feels like the running back that the community is hating on the most, right? The most. I don't know. He's getting the most hate out of the top 5. I think that tier. There's people out there throwing out all types of numbers. Scott Barrett actually just sent out a really good tweet about him. Like, analytically, it does not look good. It does not look good for Judkins. Now, I don't know what that turns into in the NFL, to be quite honest with you. I don't know what the correlation to some of those stats are to success in the NFL. I could probably just go look them up and find out. Probably be a good idea, but I haven't.
Yeah, with Judkins, the big thing, I know it's the involvement in the passing game, and his elusiveness and the missed tackles force. We've talked about this in the Discord, where people are just kind of piling on, and it seems like every other week, every other day, there's a new target that people are either just talking up or they're starting to bring down. And I see Sean already talking about Shedeur Sanders. That's another one. Like, I will get to him whenever he's picked, but yeah, you're spot on, Shane, with Judkins.
Oh,
all right, Shane. It's up to you now at 109. I just blew my pick with Judkins. So
yeah, you didn't blow shit. Look, if you've earned these picks, you can have conviction on these players, and these aren't players. It's not like you're going Jack Bash in your top 10, like CBS Sports fucking is. Excuse my French. Sorry. Apologies. Anywho, that's just absurdity. But no, I think if you've earned this pick, you do earn a little latitude, right, as to what you want to do. I personally here at 109 would love to get Caleb Johnson. I absolutely love Caleb Johnson. If he's there at 109, I will probably smash it, even in this format. What was that noise?
It was a groan of defeat and agony because I was taking him at 110 if you didn't take him there.
Dude, Chris, I had to hurt someone because Chris hurt me earlier with the Hunter thing. I was ready to be all super bold and stuff, but he took that away from me, so I'm happy I could hurt you at least.
No, I love Caleb Johnson too. It's a toss-up between those two guys. Caleb, early on in this draft offseason, he was the one getting banged on for his slow 40 time, and then we realized, hey, he had the most runs over 20 miles an hour, so what does it really matter? And that 40 time, as you guys know, is just super overrated for running backs.
Yeah, and we talked about people piling on with Quinshon Judkins. I know for Caleb Johnson, like pass pro, that's one thing that leaves a little bit to be desired. The top end speed, you mentioned the 20 mile per hour threshold there, Chris, but a lot of people don't care about that. They only care about the 40 time, and that's what they see. But he gives you the 4th highest breakaway percentage outside of Henderson, Harvey, and Giddens. He gives you enough in the preseason game. He's got great size. He's a patient runner, and he's got huge touchdown upside. He had 23 touchdowns out of 40 touchdowns from the offense last year. So I think there's a lot of teams that would be willing to take him in the second round of the NFL draft. And yards after contact, he was at almost 70% of his yards were after contact, despite a lot of people knocking him because people, looking at that Iowa offensive line saying anybody could run through those holes. Well, he was still forced to be able to miss tackles. So I like that pick a lot, Shane.
It's fun when someone plays to their size, right? Like, if you have the size to be a bully, be a bully. Don't be who's that big Giants running back that was just the big
Brandon Jacobs.
Right. Like, he looked like he should have been just eating souls, but you know what I mean? Like, the dude was injured all the time, and he was just, I don't want to call him soft, because anyone in the NFL is obviously 10 times, 1,000 times tougher than I will ever be. But he just didn't play to his size, where this dude does. So, I love it.
All right, JB, it's on you now. The 110, you just got sniped.
Yeah, I'm going to go. So the slide is going to stop here. I'm going to go Shedeur Sanders. And I'm not a huge, from a prospect standpoint, when it comes to analytics, especially, and just digging into the numbers, like running back, wide receiver, tight end, like I'm deep in the sheets. When it comes to quarterback, like draft capital landing spot is very important. So with Shedeur Sanders, I still think he goes in the first round. Like the range with him, like they're talking like, well, he's still on the board for the Giants possibly. And then if he doesn't go there, well, how far is he going to slip? If he does slip a little bit, there are still some nice landing spots that would allow him, I think, to be successful at the next level. But, you see a lot of mocks that maybe the Browns trade up middle of the first to get him. But I don't know. It's an interesting dynamic. We see it every year with Will Levis, Malik Willis types where there's talks of them maybe going super early and then they slip. With Shedeur Sanders, I think a lot of the hate, if his dad was not Deion Sanders, I think a lot of the conversations would go out the door. I think he gets a little bit of the unwarranted hate. So I don't have anything analytically speaking for you. I don't have anything from a film perspective, but this is a bet on him getting the draft capital and getting the opportunity to play early in his first season.
All right.
So,
stop the slide. Go ahead, Shane.
Yeah, so now it's like, all right, well, Loveland's sitting out there in 1.75, but so is Jackson Dart, and Jackson Dart is a guy that's been, I don't know, man, like all over the board, but it feels like he's going in the top 15, and it is super flex.
Well, wait, Chris is up.
Yeah, I'm up. I thought you were. I thought you had something to add.
No, yeah,
Shane was trading up for the pick.
He's trading up. He's eyeing up somebody here.
Okay, so Jackson Dart is terrible. Don't draft him.
I was just gonna ask, what are the odds you think of Dart getting drafted ahead of Shedeur right now?
There is so much chatter, misinformation. I don't even want to call it that, but there's just so much information that's put out there for specific reasons, right? To make people think that something's happening. Not us. No one cares what we think. You know what I mean? But in NFL circles, people leaking out like, I don't even know if Shedeur Sanders is a top 30 quarterback in this draft. Like, literally, not that. That's a little extreme. But I don't know that he's a first round pick. In another draft, he'd go in the third round, stuff like that. I will say the love for Jackson Dart is something that I felt going back to the Senior Bowl. And it felt like people wanted to get behind him, and people have gotten behind him. So I would say it's plausible that he goes before Shedeur Sanders. Now, will he? Who knows? All
right. So every year there's this group of guys, wide receivers, at the end of the first round. And you know it. And if you're a playoff team, a contender, and maybe won it last year, finished second, you always have the chance to add these guys. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to add Lemke Egbuka to the second place squad from last season at the 111. I'm going to let you have the opportunity to take Jackson Dart there, Shane, the champion from last year.
I'm going to go ahead and snipe myself here. Yeah, I'm taking Jackson Dart. I like Jackson Dart. I've liked Jackson Dart, and I saw someone brought up Mitch in the chat, dude. Me and Mitch, months ago, we both, in consecutive nights, it just so happened mine came out before Mitch's mock draft, but his was recorded before mine. We both took Jackson Dart in the first round of our mock drafts, and those were probably the first two mock drafts we did over at D-Day, and the comments were fun.
Oh, you probably got crapped on.
Absolutely. You don't know ball. And I'm like, I don't profess to be a scout. I don't profess to be anything related remotely near a scout, but I am a little intelligent, right? And you just knew that was the type of quarterback that the league would get behind. It's just, he has that factor. I don't know how you quantify that in words, actually, but it just felt like that was happening. It felt like he had momentum. So all that to say, if he's drafted outside of the top 20, then I'm not taking him here. I'm just going to take Colson Loveland, but I still think he's going to go in the top 15, so I would definitely take Jackson Dart here.
I think there's a lot of good things to love about Dart. I mean, he can get rid of the ball quicker. Shedeur has a bad had a bad sack rate. We all know Caleb Williams had that from last season. Dart was in a system with Lane Kiffin where, it was one look and get rid of it. So, and I think him following Lane Kiffin gave him good stability. He improved every single season there at Ole Miss, stats wise. He can run a little. He's got a lot of Justin Herbert in him, I think. So I can get behind Dart for sure.
Well, what about the people that say, well, he's really a product of Lane Kiffin's system? You look at what Matt Corral did in that offense.
What did Gene Daniels do last year?
I'm just playing devil's advocate, Chris, all right? All right.
It's all good, JB. You're up at the 201.
All right, well, I just want to say I wish I could revoke my Tyler Warren pick. I would have gone if we could go back in time a few minutes, I would take Caleb Johnson. So I want to make that clear for the chat. I want to make that clear for the listeners. And screw you, Shane. You incepted me somehow, I think, to get Caleb Johnson to slip to you. But now at the 201, I'm going to take Colston Loveland. But especially if there's that gap, if you have a jag-off that takes Tyler Ward at the 107 like I did, that gap in value between Ward and Loveland, it shouldn't be that much. And again, whichever one of these guys, if one of them can avoid that Colts landing spot, there's just going to be a perceived value dip there. But yeah, give me Loveland. He didn't have the raw counting stats that a Harold Fannin had, that a Tyler Warren had, but on a market share perspective, he was top tier. Obviously Harold Fannin was kind of on another level when it comes to all that, but Colston Loveland, he's another one that can be used in a few different ways. And when you get these tight ends that get this early draft capital, I know a lot of them do fizzle out, and you could look at most notably Kyle Pitts he was anointed the second coming, and then we saw how that's played out the last few years, but you could chalk that up to injuries a little bit. But anyway, give me Colston Loveland at the 201, and I'm kicking myself over that pick at 107 still.
Yeah, but
Well, don't worry. It's not the same team, JB.
All right, so the 201 guy, he's good. That 107 guy, I don't know who he is.
So you were talking about, before we started, that 105 to 112 tier, right? That, dude, you look at the back end of this draft, I could reconfigure this 13 different ways and take a couple players out of it and add them to it, right? Because there's it's a lot of this is just going to be, what do I need on my team? Who do I actually have conviction on? Or who do I believe the NFL has shown me that they have conviction on? You know what I mean? So it's hard to kick yourself for taking a Mecca Ibuka after Caleb Johnson or vice versa, considering that, I think those tiers, even though the players, which makes it kind of fun, it's not the same positions, obviously, but the tier itself, even having multiple positions in there, is pretty flat, and it allows for a lot of second guessing, but also, find your own adventure. Make your own adventure, whatever those books were called.
All right, well, I'm going to get it moving along here. I'm going to take the last guy in my flat tier that ends at the 202, and that's Luther Burden. Now, I know some people may have Matthew Golden or even Trey Harris ahead of him, but I still believe in Burden. We know he had the down year last year, but the talent is there, and things like that happen in college football where you get bad quarterback play. But now, it does depend where Burden lands, because he could be a wide receiver 1 on a team. But if he goes to somewhere, even if he goes to somewhere like Dallas, I'm fine with him being the 2 with CeeDee. So I just think that Burden's got that versatility that's nice, and so he can play inside or out. And so that'll help benefit him no matter where he goes. And now it's on you, Shane. It's 203.
This is where it really gets to choose your own adventure. This is where you're like, dude, can I just trade back 4 picks and let you guys make some decisions for me, and then just let me do what I want? Again, I'm just going to play to the 1.75 tight end premium at this point. If I'm sitting here, I've already got Cam Ward in the first, right? I'm filling the positions that I need on this roster. Then it's really, is it Mason Taylor or is it Elijah Aurora? Which one do I think is going to get drafted before the other? I guess from what I've read over the last couple days, I guess it's Mason Taylor, and that's literally, I'll go Mason Taylor. But you just know that if Aurora goes before him, I flip that immediately.
Fair enough. All right. So, JB, it's on you now.
Oh man, probably one of the more divisive players when it comes to film versus analytics is Matthew Golden. And I'm not a film guy, but you see people say, just watch the film, bro. Just watch the film. So I'm going to go Matthew Golden. It seems like there is at least a chance that outside of Travis Hunter, he very well could be the first wide receiver taken. And we know how that pans out with players like Henry Ruggs being the first wide receiver taken and, Corey Davis and so on and so forth. But, you can never have a bust if they're that early, right? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But give me Matthew Golden. Analytically speaking, he's not going to give you really anything that you're looking at. I know he had the nice 40 time. Then that was under question whether or not it was a legitimate 40 time. But yeah, give me Matthew Golden, the 204. If I can land assume first round NFL wide receiver at the 204, I'm going to do that more times than not.
All right. Well, I am running to the podium here with my next pick, and that is Jalen Milroe, and the ever polarizing Jalen Milroe. He was my top quarterback back in September of this draft until, of course, Cam Ward moved up, and then Carson Beck moved down and ended up staying in school, and then we had Shedeur and Dart move ahead of him. But we know why we're drafting Milroe. It's the wheels and the hopium of another Jalen Hurts. So it's as simple as that.
Do we think he lands in the first? I mean, or is this one of the kind of rarish situations that maybe he goes in the early to mid second? Like,
I'm not really that worried either way, honestly.
Okay.
Sure, I'd like that extra fifth year, but if he's going to do something, he's going to do something by year 2. We're going to know.
Yeah, I think he will go in the first. I literally just dropped an episode yesterday talking about how I believe he will go in the first round. He was invited. There was only, 13 players invited this year, something like that.
17, I think, but yeah.
Exactly. Just like I said, 17.
13, 17.
Yeah, roughly the same. But, the NFL apparently is trying not to invite people for funsies, although I think it's a great time watching people sit in the green room for 3 days, but whatever, the NFL thinks that's a bad look. I think he probably does get drafted in the first round. Someone at that back of the first is probably, or someone's going to move up into the back of the first, because you can do it relatively cheaply compared to what it would cost to move up for Cam Ward. You know what I mean? It's a lot easier to move up from 215 to 130 than it would be to 120 to 103 or whatever the case may be, or 101. So I can see it happening. I don't know what it portends when it does happen, but I can see it happening.
For sure. Now, who did I leave for you here, Shane?
I mean, I could go my dude Trey Harris, who I like a lot. I'm just gonna, you know what? I'm gonna go Trey Harris. Trey Harris is gonna get top 50 draft capital. Not sure where. But yeah, I'm gonna go Harris. John likes Trey Harris a lot.
I
do too.
Bless
Yes.
John's heart. I went on a show a few months ago, maybe a month ago, whatever. I said, John, I like Trey Harris, I really do, but I need some more stats. Could you just send me some analytical stats? And you sent me like a page like this long, and I'm like, yeah, I like this dude even better than I did before. Dude's just a producer, Can he stay healthy? Fine. Can he get that top 50 capital that we really, really want for a wide receiver? If he can, it's a wheels up on this dude.
All right. Well, at 207, Shane, I'm taking your favorite running back, Cam Scattaboo. We had a conversation. There was some back and forth in the Discord a lot of people saying, hey, we have Cam Scattaboo as our running back 3. And Shane was like, okay. And that was it. Well, didn't seem too thrilled. But with Cam Scattaboo, like missed tackles force per attempt, only behind Genty at 0.4. Cam was at 0.35. Breakaway attempt percentage extremely low at 7%. He is not going to give you that blazing speed by any means. But in comparison, his 10-yard split was better than his 20-yard split, which was better than his 40-yard split. So he does give you that nice acceleration, that burst. He was explosive in like the vertical and the broad jump, and he's an above average receiving back, 14% receiving market share, both receptions and yards. So he's not just getting cheap dump offs. That offense went as he went. So Cam Scattaboo, 207. Here's to hoping he can land in that third round. But even if he goes early fourth, he's still a player that's going to be on my radar.
And I don't hate that you took Scattaboo, but this is a tough spot. There's too many guys here that I like. And I don't love the wide receiver at this position of the draft, taking a wide receiver, that is, because of the hit rates and whatnot with that. But I'm going to go Jalen Noel just because I see him as being another versatile type wide receiver, most notably in the slot, but I think he's ready to go out of the gate. I think he can play right away at the NFL level, and so I see him getting snaps right out the gate. And so I don't mind taking him as a mid to late round, second round pick. Even though, like I said, their hit rates aren't as great, but I'll take the chance on Noel.
Dude, I love both those picks. I should have taken Noel over Trey Harris, if we're being honest. But then I wouldn't have got to see John all sad and dejected. And I do, just for the record, I like Cam Scattaboo. It's just, I don't know if he's the running back 3, but again, after that running back 2, I don't know if there is a consensus, really. I maybe Trev Henderson, but either way, I like those picks. Y'all did good. I'm gonna do badly now.
That's why we brought you on the show, Shane.
So let's see.
You want some bad picks?
Who would the RB6 in this class be? Is it? It's way too early for Tootin, right? Remember that fun little 3-week stretch there when he was getting steamed up? That was fun. I haven't heard anything since. Everyone might hate this pick, but I don't really care what you think. I'm going to go Tyler Shuck, who is going to get drafted by the Browns at the top of the second round. Trav Hunter and Shuck. That's the dream team in Cleveland, baby.
I am not shocked you took him. From right after the Senior Bowl, I remember you fell in love with him there.
I did.
And I was trying to plan on where I'd have to take him to beat you to him, but you got me. Late second, he's all yours.
Yep. A little early, probably, right? But if he's got top 34 draft capital, and I need a quarterback, maybe I take the shot here. Look, I know we love getting bashed in the comments about, like, I can't believe you took that dude at 208. I can't see. 209. I got news for you, people. Most of the players you draft at 209, 10, 11, 12 are going to be absolute garbage cans and give you no fantasy value. Absolutely. Go look at the history of it, and it's not good. So knowing that, take a shot. You know what I mean? Just take the shot.
Absolutely. I did a video last night on late round quarterbacks, basically any quarterbacks taken in rounds 2 through 7. And I mean, just for those guys to hit, all you need are like 10 double-digit starts. And if you're talking quarterbacks taken in rounds 3 or later, I mean, if you get a start out of them, right, you're really getting something. I mean, even Dorian Thompson-Robinson got that. All right, JB, 210.
I am going to take. I'm going to take. What do we got? I'm going to take Dylan Sampson,
Okay.
running back Tennessee. I know it kind of leaves a bad taste in folks' mouths. There were even somewhat high expectations in year one for Jalen Wright, hoping he did something coming out of Tennessee. Didn't really get that. I challenged Chris on, with Jackson Dart. Well, that offense in Ole Miss, well, in Tennessee, it very, very spread out, and it really caters to running backs. But with Dylan Sampson, missed tackles forced on his receptions. He was number 2 in this class. Yards after contact per attempt, kind of middle of the pack. Gives you solid speed. I think he's pushed himself up to late day 2 draft capital. I think he's going to be one of the 8 maybe that get day 2 draft capital. And in the right situation, I think he could be a back that's going to be rising up people's boards here over the next, 8 days. So, yeah, give me Dylan Sampson at this point of the draft.
Yeah, I like that Sampson pick. I think he's going to get probably day 2 draft capital. And even if he doesn't, if he goes in round 4, he's been mocked to the Raiders in round 4 where they didn't take Genty in round 1. So, I mean, Sampson's a guy who definitely could land anywhere and be the every down back for them. It's hard to say. Like without landing spots, it's hard to say with these guys. So we're just going off of talent, and Sampson's got speed. He can do it all. I mean, he's similar to Jalen Wright from Tennessee as well. I think he's better. He showed a little better goal line work. And so, yeah, I don't hate that Sampson pick at all. I'm going to follow up with another running back. And yes, I know he got steamed up a little bit because of that great combine, but
Scootin' tootin'?
yeah, I'm going scootin' tootin' here. I got to do it. If I can find him here. Sleepers, it's just ridiculous. This I don't mind it because some good guys are buried down there, but it's honestly, I can't believe Tootin's still that far down on the draft boards. I just think even in one of the latest mocks, I saw him going in the second round to Miami, which, doesn't surprise me because Miami wants speed, similar to, the Niners. There's certain teams that just value the running back position more than others. And it's part of the reason why I think it's ridiculous for people to think that the Cowboys are going to take running back early. Because, I mean, how many times does Jerry Jones have to say that he doesn't value the position? So he's going to wait till round 4, 5, or 6. Whereas the Ravens could take Ollie Gordon in round 3. I don't know. That's why we're doing this without the context of a mock draft, because I did a mock draft off of CBS's 7-round mock on Sunday night or on Monday night, and that draft was just horrible. I mean,
and it doesn't matter what NFL mock draft you pick, people complain about it.
Yeah.
Oh, these spots are just so unrealistic. They could be the ideal spots. They could be, it doesn't matter. People would complain.
Absolutely. So, yeah, that's why I kind of wanted just to ignore that kind of context here and just get a feel for talent, really. And so Tootin, we know, has talent, and I'll draft that all day. So, Shane,
yes,
we're going to end round 2 here.
There's a lot of people saying that they think the mock draft A-Red is the worst, but Jack Bash at 10. I didn't even get past that. I was done. Anyway, man, I really like Arroyo. I really like RJ Harvey. I don't know who you take here. I guess just lean on the format. I'm going to go with Elijah. I like Elijah again, someone that at the Senior Bowl really showed out, and that's someone that that not just me, like a lot of people were feeling, right? So that dude's going to be explosive, assuming he can play a full complement of games, which he's done, I think, twice in the season, or not. But yeah, I'm basically leaning into the format here, right? There are running backs I like here. I don't know how to differentiate from them at this point, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, with you already taking Taylor, now Arroyo's gone. You're leaving essentially maybe one or two more tight ends that we actually really want to draft here, whereas the running back well definitely has not gone dry yet. You want to kick us off in round 3 here, JB?
Yeah, the 301 and Shane, I'm going to upset Scott and you here, and I'm going to go with a wide receiver.
Huh?
I'm gonna get a message from Scott. Don't take wide receivers in this range.
Noel, he's the last wide receiver I want to draft. I'll just put it that way, so you guys can lock in the rest of the wide receivers here.
I'm gonna take Jaden Higgins. You know, you speak about Jalen Noel sticking there in Iowa State. I think he's gonna get second round draft capital. 2.64 receiving yards per team pass attempt over his career. Doesn't give you all that much after the catch, at least in 2024, but utilized a little bit downfield, over 12 yards on his average depth of target. Gives you the college dominator. Little bit older, breakout at 20 and then 21 for 30%. But 4.47 speed gives you the height adjusted speed score. I think and you could say this about anybody, but in the right situation, I think Jaden Higgins could be a very nice 2 on a team in the NFL. So give me Jaden Higgins here at 301.
All right, Higgins is gone. So I think I'm gonna lean into the position here and go tight end, and I'll take Fannin here. I don't care who you are. You put up 1,500 yards in high school. That's something to say, and that's what Fannin did last year. It's produce. He did it against good competition against Penn State, and so I think there's a team out there. Maybe all he is Isaiah Likely, but I think there's a team out there that's going to draft him for a reason, and they're going to find a way to get him some work.
I am up, and I'm going running back as well. Except that you didn't go running back, you went tight end, so that really didn't go at all. Yeah, I think I'm going to make Cody happy here. Look, you want to know what? There's multiple multiple running backs that I like here, and I don't know how to differentiate them. So Cody brought up DJ Giddens. I'll go with Giddens. I like Giddens. Everyone likes Giddens, right? I think there's no running backs in this range that people are going to be like, I can't believe you took that dude. Are there? Maybe Rashard Smith. Maybe it's a little early for him, considering that you have Giddens, Martinez, and RJ Harvey still on the board. But yeah, I'll take Giddens here. I think this is good value at this spot.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
Oh,
all right,
man.
JB. You got here at 304. This is such a huge tier here. It can go so many guys.
I hate you guys so much because there's still a few wide receivers that I was eyeing up.
Keep taking them.
I'm gonna take them. Give me Alec Iamaner out of Stanford. Suffered from poor quarterback play. I still think he goes in the second round as well. I know, you guys had talked about top 50 draft capital, obviously important, but there are certain things with Alec Iamaner that stand out to me. And again, the receiving yards per team pass attempt. Yes, the contested target rate a little bit higher, almost 23% this past year, but that kind of goes into the way he's utilized. Over 14 yards, average depth of target down the field. Another one, 20-year-old breakout, gives you the college dominator and gives you the 4.44 speed. I'll take a shot on Iamaner here at 304.
All right. So I lied. There is one wide receiver out there still that I like, but I'm gonna maybe let you have him, Shane. We'll see. I'll test the waters here. I'm gonna jump on a running back that I think is the most boring running back with the boring name. He has David Montgomery written all over him, in my opinion, and that's Devin Neal. He doesn't do anything great, but he does everything well. And so I think that he's somebody that and a number of NFL teams would love to have in their RB room.
There's 1,000 running backs I want in this draft, right? There's literally 1,000 of them. Like, I'm coming back around and I'm realizing, oh wait, I talked about RJ Harvey literally a half round ago, and I'm gonna bypass him again and go with Ollie Gordon. Ollie Gordon, he's not gonna be. Who am I thinking of? I don't know. He's not Marshall Faulk out there, but he can receive well enough. And dude, just 1,700 yards is hard to get out of my head. It just is. And I know he wasn't great last year, but we've seen running backs that have had a down. Well, it wasn't a senior year, but down last year in college and then come out and be fine in the pros. Again, caveat, if this dude goes in the 5th round, all bets are off.
I don't even care if he goes in the 5th round.
Yeah? Well, you know what? Look, it's 306, right? And me and Scott get in this argument all the time where he's like, oh, well, you shouldn't draft this player. And I'm like, Scott, you have to be practical. Like, you can only draft who's available. You know what I mean? Like, to your point with the wide receivers, I mean, JB's point even. Like, no, I don't really want to be drafting wide receivers here. But at some point, you run out of it. And someone mentioned Croxy Merritt, whatever the dude's name is. Like, if I get to that point and I'm just taking people like that, sure, just give me a wide receiver. Why not?
All right, JB, you got another running back for us here, or what?
All right, so wide receiver. No. Oh, give me Harold. Give me Harold Fannin.
I already took him.
You cannot have him.
Oh my God! I even put it on my sheet. I even put it on my sheet over here.
I need a terrible towel. I need one of those.
Oh my
one
gosh.
of Coach Dandy Nasty's flags.
I'm all hopped up on the wide receivers. I'm not thinking clearly over here. All right, so I'm not going to take Harold Fannin. I will take. Give me. I'll go running back here. Give me Jaden Blue.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
I like it.
Give me Jaden Blue. I mean, it's going to be a later round running back, most likely in this situation with Blue. Doesn't give you necessarily the rushing attempt workload to like really set himself apart. A little bit smaller back, but he gives you the speed. Give me Blue.
All right. I've seen him go to the Chiefs as early as the end of round 3. I think that's a decent fit. So any team that wants speed, Chiefs, Niners, Miami, those types, they're going to be eyeing him up for sure. I don't love the guy, but I can understand.
He at least has one super skill, right? We think he'll have at least one super skill in the NFL, and that'll be as a receiving back. And if he can pop there, you're going to be fine. You don't care if the dude sees 3 carries a game or whatever it is if he's getting 7 targets. So, yeah, I like that pick.
Right. Yeah, they compared it to, Jerick McKinnon, which I could see him definitely doing that for the Chiefs there. And a third-round pick, like you mentioned, a third-round pick, I mean, you just need him to start once or twice for you, and you're winning.
Dude, if you're comped to Jet could have been a really fine player if not for many, many injuries. And he still gave you some really usable weeks. I don't want to say full last year, but definitely weeks.
All right, so you guys let him fall to me. I got to do it. I said that I didn't like any more receivers, but I'm doing this for Mitch. This one goes out to you. Jalen Royals, Utah State. You said he's got that dog in him, so I'm going with it. So there it is, Jalen Royals.
I like Jalen Royals. You know, again, going back to the like, you shouldn't be drafting wide receivers. I'm going to be guilty of it because there's a couple of these guys that I'm just like, I like them, so I'm going to draft them. Again, if you know that the odds are low that they're going to hit, fine. You know what I mean? Just have a plan for it if they do hit. That's all.
The odds may be low, but some of them do hit. I mean,
Right.
so.
Right. Oh,
All right, who do you want here, Shane?
I think I've mentioned his name 36 times in now 9 picks. So someone should draft him, and it should be me because I keep bringing him up. But I'm going to draft R.J. Harvey. If he could hold on to the football, that'd be great. That would be awesome. But I think he's another guy he's a guy that could. He has a 3-down skill set at least, right? I don't know if he'll ever be that in the NFL. I don't know if he'll ever actually be a starter, but I think he could be a strong committee player.
Not a bad grab here at all. All right, JB, 310.
Just making
eyeing
sure
up?
he didn't go off the board yet. Give me Jordan James.
Ooh.
I'll take Jordan James here at 310. Another back. He gives you enough in the receiving game, gives you, good enough speed, and another back that's probably going to go first half of day 3. But we talk about crapshoots with these running backs, so yeah.
I mean, he split the load with Bucky Irving back there in Oregon, so I mean, he's got to be somewhat decent, right? I'm going to go with his clone, essentially, and that's Damian Martinez. A lot of running backs.
That's who I was between, right? That's who I was between.
And so I think for some reason I'm visioning Martinez going to the Steelers, and it just seems like a perfect fit in like round 4 or 5. Because the Steelers, they don't have that second round pick because they traded it in that DK deal. So I can't see him taking running back first round, but rounds 3, 4, 5, they're gonna find somebody, and I think Martinez would just fit in perfectly with that team. But a number of other teams too.
So it seems like we're just at the point of the draft where we're like, let me find one dude that can do something, one thing really well. Can he do one thing really well? Because if he can, that's a dude I want to draft. So with that said, sure, give me Rocket Sanders. Give me him.
Love me some Rocket.
Right. I mean, it feels like he was in college for at least 35 years. I'm sure he wasn't, but it felt like he was there forever. And he definitely went through the life cycle of, holy crap, this kid's going to be great. And then by the time he came out of college, it's like, all right, is this dude going to be drafted to where he's getting a little bit of buzz? And again, the 3rd round, it's not like you're going to be drafting anyone here that's drafted in the 2nd or even probably the 3rd round of the NFL draft. So he's got one super skill. So I'll take Rocket here.
I can remember when he was the number 1 running back in this class.
Yeah.
All right, JB, let's rapid fire this 4th round here.
I went Kyle Williams out of Washington State.
Okay.
There you go.
18-year-old breakout, almost 40% college dominator, gives you the yards after the catch, gives you a solid A dot. The way he was utilized, we talk about the Trinity score all the time. Somebody that would have looked okay there. Give me another no wide receiver. So,
all right, I'm gonna grab a running back with another unique skill set, and that's Brashard Smith, hoping to catch the Tyron Tracy in a bottle there.
Yeah, man, you've collected, and it's not the same team, but you've collected Smith and Tootin, who are 2 of the funnest running backs to come out of this whole draft process, because these are guys that weren't as highly touted as they were, obviously.
Right, and that's part of the fun, right? We're playing fantasy football here. Let's, when you're getting to the late 2nd and beyond, second round, the 3rd and 4th round, have a little fun with it, because like we've mentioned, these hit rates are not awesome. So draft some guys you like. Have a little fun playing it. We all take this very seriously, of course, because we want to beat our buddies.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's more fun when you win with the guys you like.
And if you're going to be picking players you like, the fourth round's a place to do it. That said, it's my turn. Yes, I'm going to go.
Yes, sir.
Ah, damn it. So this is the problem with going Mason Taylor in the second is you look and go, ooh, you know who I'd like to take here? A tight end. Am I really going to be taking another tight end? Oh, when I look at the options at running back, let's see here. There's Blues off the board. You took Smith. Oh, how about a player with one specific skill set again? Woody Marks. Woody Marks going to come in. He's going to be like Jaden Blue, right? Going to get a ton of receptions. I don't know about the rushing work, but yeah, give me Woody Marks here.
All right. Woody goes at the 403. JB, 404.
Trevor Etienne.
All right. Another guy who has a particular skill set. I don't know where he is. Oh, there he is. Last running back.
Last one. Come on, baby.
Ranked 2463 here on the sleeper board.
So you're saying I reached a little bit. That's all right. That's all right.
Hey, like Shane said, it's the fourth round.
Yes.
It's all good reaching. All right, so I'm going to hopefully snipe Shane here because I heard him mention tight end, and so I'm going to go with Turd Ferguson here.
Yeah.
And there he is, Ferguson. He's got some hype. Why not?
Yeah, man. He tore up the combine, right? Now, a lot of people took the day off, but whatever. He still did it.
Yes, sir.
Boy. Yeah. Jesus. I haven't heard anything about him in the draft process, so I'm probably not going to take him. I have heard some. Oh, yeah. I'm going to do this just to piss people off. Savion Williams. Where's Savion? Give me him. Give me him. And then I'm going to say the laziest shit stuff that anyone's heard or that's been repeated repeatedly. He could be Deebo Samuel. All right. I got that out of
Could be.
I mean, he's another one yards after the catch.
That's he's Deebo Samuel or Treylon Burks, but he's definitely Deebo Samuel.
Or JJ Artiga Whiteside. Whatever. Sounds the same.
Yeah.
Give me Will Howard.
William Howard. One of the guys I mentioned last night in my quarterback video. This is the time where you can go ahead and take that shot on quarterbacks that, 1 out of 5 basically gets you at least 10 good starts. And so one of these 5 dudes, starting with Tyler Shook, is gonna hit, I think. And I'm gonna go with my guy, Kyle McCord. I just love the way he slings it. I hate Quinn Ewers, so I don't care if he doesn't get drafted. And Kyle McCord's the guy I want.
Absolutely no one likes Quinn Ewers, and I polled everyone. So this team clearly has a need at quarterback, right? Because they went Tyler Shuck in the second, and they're like, you know what? If I had known that I was going to get Dylan Gabriel in the fourth, I might have just held off and went another way. But yeah, they're gonna double up the QB position here and go Dylan Gabriel. I love Gabriel.
There you go.
I absolutely love the kid. I wish he was a little bigger.
He's the guy everybody was going to root for. You know that. All right, JB, sorry. Last pick here.
Last pick.
I don't know if I can go any lower than Trevor Etienne, so
we'll try to keep it above there. Give me LaQuint Allen.
That's it.
Talk about players with a particular skill set, obviously being utilized in the passing game. He's going to be somebody that could be interesting, but he also might get a quarterback killed if he's in pass pro. So,
all right, I'm gonna take my shot here on the little guy from Delaware, if he's even on here.
He is. He is.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
looking
there
at
he
Sleeper.
is.
Yep.
346, way above Trevor Etienne. Okay. Marcus Yarns. Nobody knows about him. I didn't watch any film on him. I just know he's a deep sleeper like Jarquez Hunter. And if you want to take him, Shane, I have no problem with that.
Yeah, I got a chance to talk to Marcus Yarns at the Senior Bowl.
That's right. That's where I saw him. You talking to.
Yeah, because I was just I thought it was really cool that there was a kid there from the FCS, and they don't get a lot of they're very much in the minority at the Senior Bowl, so I thought it was really cool. And that kid can fly, man. He can absolutely fly. He looks like if someone gets a solid hit on him, that he will go into the stands. But I don't know if you're getting a solid hit on him. But yeah, just to close it out, give me Kyle Monangai, just because his name is fun to say. And
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm gonna
There he is.
Yeah.
The pride of Rutgers, I think, right?
Yes.
Rutgers?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. Well, there you have it, folks. I mean, this was just a killer mock. Tyler Shook in the second round. We had Quinshon Judkins going at the 108 that just everybody else loved that I did. And we learned something about the tight ends here. Tyler Warren maybe doesn't need to go at the 107 here. I just, with the running back, everybody loving the running backs, with the veterans doing well last year and now just a huge running back class this year, I don't know that I can stomach picking a tight end at the 107. I don't think Tyler Warren's bad at all. Same with Loveland. I don't know that I'm going to be able to pull the trigger in the middle of the first on a tight end.
I don't know, man. I've vacillated back and forth. I don't know if that's a word. Like where I was at the point at the beginning of this draft process, I'm like, I'll take Tyler Warren at the 104 in a tight end premium. And now I'm like,
right?
Yeah, I don't know about that because I'm not even sure I'm taking him over Loveland. And I'm kind of the mind that I want someone else to take Warren first and let me take Loveland because I might not have the stones to actually just take Loveland over him. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about taking these tight ends super early in the first.
And then on top of that, Shane, if you miss out on one of those two, you still got a good three behind them in Taylor, Arroyo, and Fannin. They all have their good, like Taylor and Arroyo are good all around tight ends.
Right.
Arroyo, you saw him at the Senior Bowl. He blew up there, and Fannin, of course, has his specialty. So, I mean, yeah, I'm just not. They're not Brock Bowers, so they're not good enough, right?
I hear.
JB, what was your favorite pick here?
Oh, looking at the board, I mean, the Caleb Johnson at 109, and actually, I think there's going to be a lot of situations, unless he gets one of the juicy landing spots, potentially like Denver in the middle, late second. I think you're going to be able to snag him even later in the first in a lot of situations, especially if Milroe and Dart creep up and they do, in fact, get that first-round draft capital. And, I see the comment from Sean, hey, there's 22 running backs that were taken here, almost half our board. And a lot of that's going to be weeded out here in just over a week's time. And then also, like you mentioned it, Chris, with the health of the running back position this past year, sure, it was a little bit of an anomaly, but you're going to see more and more of these backfields get watered down a little bit, I think, and especially with the influx of talent. Every year there's that one landing spot that everybody just kind of raises their eyebrows and like, oh my goodness. Like, yeah, there's 5 running backs that I think for the most part a lot of people have above the rest. I know we obviously talked about Cam Scatterbo creeping into the top 5 for a lot of people, but there's a good chance that one of those backs outside of Genty maybe goes to a situation that we're like, oh my God, that's just a terrible spot. Like if you would have told me going into Zach Charbonnet's rookie year that he got second round draft capital, you would have been like, oh my God, sign me up. But then he goes to a spot where they invested in another second round back in Kenneth Walker previously. So I'm just hoping we can avoid any of those landmines, but I cannot wait for the draft. It can't get here soon enough.
No, I can't. Now, you guys over at DD have been just tearing it up this draft season with the content daily. I mean, it's insane. And so, what has Ray got you guys lined up for this next week?
Lots of work. So Thursday, we'll be on the big channel. We'll be on Ray's channel. John, you'll be there. Shane, me, I'll be there. Ray will be there. Mitch will be there. Scott will be there. And Jay Rich will be there. Friday, I know we are doing well, after that, I think we're doing a pregame on John and ours channel. And then we're going to Ray's channel for the draft live streaming. The next day, we're going to do a live mannequin chill. Sometime in the afternoon.
I think at noon or 1, yeah.
Yeah, sometime. That's why I had to get a blackout curtain, so I don't look like an angel anymore from the sun. But yeah, and then we're gonna live stream again Friday night. Dynasty Theory is going to go live, or is it going to be Dynasty Trending? Which one?
So Dynasty Theory will be live at 3 Eastern, so we're kind of staggering Mannequin Chill and DT on Friday. Then, I mean, it's going to be like, what, 7 hours or so. Friday night, because we're going to do a post show.
Yes.
And then we're going to have just a ton of people jumping on Saturday. And then I think you guys might be doing another live show over the weekend, and we might be doing another. It's just nonstop.
Yeah. Look, we like talking about fantasy football, and Ray has given us an outlet to do so. So we're just going to continue to do it until someone tells us we can't do it anymore. So yeah, that's one thing you'll never have to worry about on our YouTube channel. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. There is always content to be had on it.
That's right. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. The Birdhouse Dynasty Show. I'm going to be trying to keep up with these guys. I think I have a cot right over here in back. I know Shane has one lined up right behind him there. And I'll be on as much as I can. I live just a couple of hours away from Lambeau, and I thought of driving up there and doing this live spectacular, but, you know, it's just not logistically sound. Not trying to set up a camera amidst 50,000 people or whatever is just insanity. And I'll enjoy sitting on the recliner here and talking Dynasty and answering your questions, and it's going to be fun. I can't wait. I wish it was starting in 45 minutes. So JB, anything else to add?
No, I want to give you a shout out, Chris. You're always one of the first ones to support our content whenever anything comes out on the channel. And you just, I tagged in our Discord, I said, friend of the channel, because you truly have been. So I just want to say I appreciate you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like I said early at the beginning, when I got back into Dynasty and during COVID, you were one of the first shows that I got into. And it was more so because I saw the different dynamic. You and a lot of the other guys on DD Fantasy, Shane and Scott, all of you, you're talking strategy. You're not worried about the rankings. Now, JB, I know you got your ranking tiers, and that's great. And, you know, all these other shows right now, they're putting out their quarterback rankings, running back rankings, and blah, blah, blah. It's about these tiers and what you can do with them. I mean, I wish we had more time so we could discuss more trade options, but that's why we're going to be talking 24/7 for the next 7 days, because there's endless topics, and I love it. And again, shout out to Dynasty Theory, because you guys deserve. I was so happy when you guys got in with Ray and Shane and Scott there over at DD Fantasy, and I don't want to miss out anybody's name over there at DD Fantasy, because you guys are all great, and I really just appreciate this, because you two are two of my favorites to watch. You're entertaining. Between Dan and Mitch on your show, John, and then you and Scott on Manic and Chill, it's just always been so informative and helped my Dynasty career. So really appreciate both of you.
And
I'm
Shane's on
now.
mute.
Yeah, I was just saying thank you, man. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you for having us on. It was fun coming on with JB. I get to see JB again tomorrow night. But
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I appreciate you having us both on.
All right. Well, for JB and Shane, I thank you for joining the Birdhouse tonight. And just remember, never stop working.